And speaking of massive ripples of impact, I am very excited to introduce you to our next awesome change maker. This woman has made such an impact on my life. I know that those that are in the mastermind with us every morning, that Siobhan has been a part of the masterminds, like she always leaves a footprint, always leaves a positive, powerful footprint on the hearts of every single person that's there. Siobhan is a leadership specialist, and in the 1990s, she set up the first postgraduate program in women's leadership in the UK. She's gone on since to mentor, coach, and train women leaders across the globe. She's brought decades of this experience and expertise together in her company, the Learning Communities Network, providing powerful online courses for fearless leaders. I am delighted to be on her next course. If you facilitate, if you go live, if you run events, or you want to, you need to go on Siobhan's course. Let's get the amazing Siobhan up on stage. I think this girl is on fire.
Yay! Whoa!
Yay.
Thank you. Perfect song. I was curious, what song is she going to choose? Perfect song. Perfect.
Amazing, amazing. Siobhan, welcome to International Women's Day 2022.
Absolutely. And you know, a place I want to begin, I'm not even going to let you even ask me a question, but I just have been really aware as we've been listening to these amazing and powerful women speaking. It's International Women's Day, and I really want to honor the women of Ukraine and of Russia. And let's just take a moment in terms of what they're living through, because if there's one thing that history tells us, is they'll be paying the biggest price for this. They're the ones that are going to have to be dealing with the consequences, and no matter at what point and no matter how many people have to die before we get to that resolution of peace, they're the ones that are going to be leading the way. So yeah, I think that's a really important place to start at this moment.
Amazing, Siobhan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know, it's that's something that you are just so brilliant at. Of the many millions of things that you're brilliant at, is you are so observant. You observe everything, you take it all in, and you deliver so powerfully. When you give feedback, it's delivered with such love, but also such raw honesty as well. And that's something that I appreciate hugely in you, and how honest you are, and also how beautiful you are in your vulnerability as well. When people are creating their online networks, just as you have done, what would you say about vulnerability in creating that that kind of essence of yourself? Because I know a lot of people are fearful about turning up as themselves, but you say, you know, like, I love the word fuck. I'll say fuck, fuckity fuck, fuck-a-doodle-doo, fuck, 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 right? And that's just you. That's who you are. And I just love you for that. For somebody who doesn't feel like, as Jackie actually mentioned at the beginning of the conversation about, you know, being in a very male dominated environment, not discussing feelings. That's how I also felt when I came into business on my own, because it was very kind of frowned upon to be vulnerable or show your feelings or show who you really are. But that's something that you do very well. How do you do it, and what would you recommend to those people watching?
You know, we live at an unprecedented moment in history. You know, we live in a world that's divided with COVID. We live in a world of work that is transformed in terms of the hybrid world and the online world. And that brings advantages such as the opportunity to have global conversations like we're having now. But it also brings downsides. And one of the things that I committed myself to do through Learning Communities Network was I really want to explore that space of deep and meaningful connection in the online world. And I've touched that and I've experienced that. And part of what you have to do if you want to get that deep and meaningful connection is you have to be authentic. And you know, part of being effective and powerful leaders in the world is about embracing our vulnerability. I had a wonderful teacher in the 90s. I trained with Native Americans in the States, and she made me sit and write 1,000 times, "My vulnerability is my strength." And it is, you know, I had to sit 2 times, but it is one of the most powerful lessons that I've learned. And because you become a great teacher when you're willing to be in that place of vulnerability. And that for me is about the power of learning. Because if you want to be in that place of learning, you have to go to that place of vulnerability. And if you want to be a teacher, a facilitator, that's how you get there, is by being vulnerable and being intimate and embracing of your vulnerability.
Wow. Siobhan, out of interest, what would you say is the time in business where you have felt your most vulnerable, and through sharing that vulnerability, you got a result that you didn't expect?
I think Learning Communities Network. You know, Learning Communities Network came into being because I was one of the casualties of COVID, in that I was made redundant from a job that I thought I had for life, and I have a terminal heart condition, so I'm particularly vulnerable in the world of COVID, and that's a very vulnerable place to be, 58 years of age, and suddenly you've lost your job, you've lost your income, and what do you do? And you're too old for the job market. And I could have either gone down that path of despair, and I chose not to. I chose to actually, you know, that Chinese character, severe crisis, dangerous opportunity. And I decided to embrace the dangerous opportunity of it, and to take the work that I've been passionate about in terms of creating deep and meaningful learning environments, working with those fearless leaders, those leaders of courage, and to take that into the online place and to start playing. How do we do this? We're never going to lose this now. We're never going to return to normal. Being in the online space is a matter of life now. And I want that to be a deep and meaningful experience.
Beautiful. What would you say, Siobhan, is the number one problem that people come to you with? What's going on for them when they come to you?
They don't realize how talented they are. They don't realize the gifts that they have to share, and they haven't woken up to the fact that the world loses so much when they don't share who they really are. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things for me. It's like Donna was saying earlier, you know, being the witness on that journey of transformation. And that's one of the things that happens on the facilitator's path time and time again, is that people wake up to who they really are, the gifts and the talents that they have to share with the world. And more importantly, there is not just their responsibility to share it, but their right to share it.
I love that. Not just your responsibility to share it, but your right to share it. That is definitely quotable. Somebody put that in the comments and tag Siobhan's name. In fact, go share it somewhere else and quote Siobhan and tag her into that. That's such a beautiful quote. Siobhan, you have so many amazing programs and courses and resources that you support people like us on this call right now to become better leaders and better facilitators. What would be the best way for people to contact you to find out more about how they can get involved?
And it's there on the screen, Learning Communities Network. Stick it into Google, the website will come up. I'll put a link in the comments as well on the Facebook Live. And Sammy, I want to end by acknowledging you and saying thank you to you for having the balls to step up, to say we need to celebrate this day. It's an incredibly important day in all of our lives, and you had the balls and you threw something together, and what a rich and beautiful experience it's been to be with all these change makers. So thank you, my darling.
Thank you to you, my angel. You are such an angel to so many, and it's been wonderful to see you looking so gorgeous and healthy. You look really healthy and you look happy, and I'm so pleased to see you. It's been lovely to see your face. Guys and girls, give it up for the amazing Siobhan Riordan, who is making big ripples of change all over the planet. And if you have not connected with Siobhan, if you haven't interviewed her, if you haven't gone on one of her courses, make sure that you do, because each and every one of you here is a leader, and to be able to facilitate the change you want to see in the world and the change you want to make in the world, there's some tools that you can use that make things easier. As I talked about earlier, putting systems in place made it easier for me to be able to communicate more fully with you as I'm doing now, and to be able to be creative. That's what they enabled me to do. And what Siobhan's tools enable you to do is to be your full, true, authentic self whilst leading.